Hi, I'm Gretchen,
And I'm Becca.
and we're two curious ladies on an adventure to learn more about cooking, cannabis.
And the fine art of gluttony. Join us every 10 days or so as we get high and make our way through a recipe.
Step inside and let the consumption begin. We are recording. We're making a weird thing for fall, but also feels appropriate, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely what we're making today is not what we thought we would be making. We wanted to do something green, and then we kind of wanted to use green apple because 'tis the season. And we ended up making green apple margaritas with two or three different simple syrups with a bunch of stuff in them. It's been really fun, but it's just been a real interesting journey to get to our final. We're not even done yet. Anyway, okay, let's get to it. We're making green apple margaritas. So, what we're making today is what we're drinking today. So, what are you smoking, Gretchen, while we get going?
I'm having some pop rocks provided to me by my friend Tamara via one of her friends. And I am using my favorite thing, the Zenko vaporizer, because nothing else will do, and I like using as little weed as possible. So I have no info on this. It's just pop rocks from somewhere. Somebody grew it. It's fine.
Somebody grew it. Oh, your Zenko looks so fun. While you're inhaling that, I will tell you what I am enjoying, which is some biscotti mints from Stizzy. Lots of Z's happening there. And it's 22% THC, 8 milligrams per gram limonene, 6 milligrams per gram beta caryophyllene, and 6 milligrams per gram humulene. So there's that humulene again. And I'm liking it. Another lower THC for me too. So I'm just experimenting a little bit with these lower THC ones, trying to hone in on those terpenes, but I'm liking it. It's perfect as always. It's always going to be perfect because I'm already smoking it. So it is what it is.
That's the only requirement. It has to be in my body.
Yeah, exactly. But we couldn't remember if we had talked about green apples before. We did realize that we have talked about apples on the whole a little bit in the past. I don't even remember what episode that was for, but either way, we did want to talk a little bit about green apples since they are the star today. So Gretchen, tell me what you know about green apples.
Well, they're green. I know they're green.
Green, sour.
Sour, typically more sour. They are overall a higher acid apple than most of the red varieties.
Are they always sour?
Not always. I did find a very impressive list of 30 different varieties of green apple, and some of them did say they were quite sweet. They were very low acid. So it's not always going to be the most acidic. The signature tart green apple, which is a Granny Smith, I think is the one most people think of when they think green apples. That was actually developed in Australia. Did not remember to look up when, but it was actually developed in Australia
Hmm.
and is one of the higher acidity apples
Good day,
overall.
Granny.
The person that developed it actually had the last name Smith, so that is true.
That is a name. So it's the acid that makes them tart.
Generally more tart than other types, yes.
Okay.
Actually, it says this article actually says it was discovered in Australia. My bad.
Oh, well,
But it has to do with selective breeding as well. There's always going to be an element of discovery with apples because of the way they produce. You're never going to know from one thing to the next. The only way to get true consistency is to take clone or to graft. So you have to take pieces of one tree and graft it onto rootstock, and that's how you propagate most apples in order to keep them the same as previous apples. But yeah, overall, their green apples are more tart.
Do they
So
have the same amount of pectin?
I think that's more of an apple to apple trait more than like a green apple. I do want to say that yes, they have a slightly higher amount of pectin in them, but apples are pretty high in pectin to begin with, so it's not necessary. I don't know that it would be discernible.
Mm-hmm. The acidity doesn't like change the pectin level.
No,
No.
that
Okay.
doesn't affect it.
Okay. Anything else about the Granny
I
Smith or the green apple in general?
I mean, unless you want me to run down a list of the various ones, but you know,
Not so
um,
much.
I can tell you that a pound sweet apple, I so many peas. There's a variety called a pound sweet apple, and apparently they're very big, so that's why they're called pound, Pound, and they apparently are very similar in appearance to a Granny Smith, but they have almost no acidity, so that isn't even consistent across the board with most green apples.
Okay. That one sounds fun.
Yeah,
Big old giant
giant
apple.
apple. I mean, I think they're
Fun.
maybe like this big, where most apples are
Like a
around this.
grapefruit.
I'm assuming the reason they're called a pound is because they maybe each weigh, in general, will weigh a pound. And I think more commonly apples weigh between like 8 to 10 ounces. So it's quite a size difference when you think of it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't really like apples. I mean, I don't like fruit on its own. I'm excited to put it in a margarita though.
Making me sad, lady. Making me
I know.
sad.
I know.
Sorry, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else in this list I need to tell you. I mean, I was just amazed that there were so many and that I had no idea there were so many variations of green apples.
Yeah, I didn't either because there's over 100 apples and then at least 30 as a subset of just the green apples. It's a big old apple world out there.
Now, they do actually classify the Golden Delicious as a green apple. So,
Oh, interesting.
mhm,
Okay, good to know.
good to know. Yeah, and there are a few of them on here that they're called, say, golden. Is that really green though? Oh, there's also a 20-ounce pippin apple, maybe even bigger than the pound.
Wow. A pippin is bigger than a pound.
Yeah, I mean, they're very specific, 20 ounce.
Yeah,
It's very specific.
20 minutes
Okay, we have left or we've taken up 20
left.
minutes. Okay,
Left.
great. Yeah, no, I think I'm done. There just wasn't any scientific background stuff to cover as far as where did green apples come. It's like that's just so much to get into. Like, if we really were gonna get there, it's
No,
too
we're
much.
not. Yeah, we're taking it easy today. This is an
Yes.
ease into fall episode.
So yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get to the main thing here. I'd almost classify this as a pantry power up because today it's a little bit about those simple syrups because we decided to get real creative. The recipe called for an agave nectar, and we were like, nah, screw that. We're gonna make a simple syrup instead.
Hmm. And then we couldn't just leave it at one. I'm making two, Gretchen's making three, and we decided the base of that syrup would have green apple in it. And then we both just kind of had a fun journey through a garden, basically. It felt like we both ended up with a few different things. But the original ingredients for this drink are 45 milliliters of Altos Plata. I'm guessing that's a tequila. I didn't
Yeah.
even look into this. I just grabbed this recipe.
Oh, so this I'm assuming that's just one of the tequilas from the site because I think Olmeca Altos is the brand probably. So I'm
Okay.
thinking they probably just have a couple different types of tequila under their belts over there.
Okay. So 45 milliliters of tequila, 120 milliliters of a Granny Smith apple juice. We'll come back to that in just a second. 10 milliliters of that agave or natural syrup, in our case, simple syrup, and 10 milliliters of lime juice. I ran out of lime juice. I'm doing lime and lemon. And then just to return to that apple juice real quick, what Gretchen's already done, what I'm about to do when we get in the kitchen is to put a quartered Granny Smith apple and 1 cup of water and a blender and grind it up until it's smooth and then strain it. So depending on how mine comes out, I might not strain it. I might keep it thick if the peels blend up really well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. So I'm not going to blend it after that. I'm just gonna mix up the rest of the ingredients with the apple juice in a shaker. But Gretchen is going to blend hers up in her blender to make more of kind of a frozen blended margarita. So tell me about your 3 different flavors of syrup.
So I've got a mint apple, cilantro apple, and cilantro chili apple.
Yum. Yeah, we were supposed to both do mint and cilantro, and I couldn't find mint. So I do have cilantro, and that's with jalapeno and of course green apple. And then my other one is going to end up being chives and green apple.
Which you already have feelings about. So,
Yes, the green apple's not really pervasive at all in either of my syrups. It's really just the herbs and the jalapeno in the other case. So I'm hoping that the blended apple, that's kind of why I don't want to strain it either. I want it to kind of thicken it up a little bit and add a lot of natural apple flavor. So we'll see what happens there. If it's too thick and gunky, I'll probably strain it, but we'll see.
well, and I will note that doing the apple juice in advance means it turns brown. It
Right.
turned brown.
Yeah, I think we said it. I'm not sure. Our whole point was to make a green drink using the green
Yes.
apple.
Yeah, you mentioned it at the top.
Okay, but everything's brown.
Everything's brown. This is the problem with apples. They love to brown.
Yeah. What special equipment do we need today, Gretchen?
Blender, a shaker and or blender for the making, and we're also going to be using a grater because we decided to take a little slice of the apple and put it in the freezer so we could grate a little bit of frozen apple over the top and hopefully get some nice green peel on top. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Yeah, it might
None,
just disappear in the sea of brown, but
right?
it might make its little green mark. We'll see.
Yeah. Please, please, something be green on this.
Yeah. Well, I think either way, it's all going to taste delicious. Mine's going in a shaker, Gretchen's is going in a blender. I don't think there's anything else. We did mix up a little sugar and salt to rim our
Yep.
glasses with. And should we get to the kitchen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do it.
Woohoo.
Woohoo! I'm gonna blend up my apple juice right now. Okay,
We are in the
welcome to the
kitchen.
kitchen.
So you're blending up your apple juice
Just finished.
and you left the peel
It,
on.
I did.
It's
So it
nice
is
and
green.
green. Yours is going to be much nicer green than mine. Bummer. I mean, not
You have more
for
apples.
you.
I mean,
Yeah,
we could
do I have more apples? Yes. My
so many apples.
tree is dripping with apples.
Well, if you think you'll use the first batch, you could just mix up a new
New
one real
batch?
quick. Yeah.
Uh,
But also we could just go with
I
what we
already
have.
put the tequila in it.
All right, let's just keep moving.
I'm just going to keep going with what I've got.
Okay. Yeah, because from this point, it's basically just mix everything up.
Right. Yes. I did throw a couple of chunks of apple in my freezer earlier so I could have not just ice, but frozen apple.
Okay, yes, I did a quartered apple in the freezer. I'll get that too. Oh, it has cute little ice crystals. Forgot to get my grater out.
I'm going to go ahead and blend mine up because I've got my lime juice, tequila, apple juice all together. And then I've added my regular ice and my frozen apple.
Okay.
So Off we go into the wild blending adventure.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure it would have been pretty green had I left the peel on either the apple chunks or the in the juice. It would have been much prettier green, but it's not too bad of a color. It's a little yellow, so at least it's yellow.
Golden delicious.
Yeah.
Still green apple.
Uh,
I'm just about to strain mine. I had to divide it up and then separate the two flavors somehow.
Ah,
But okay, pouring now.
all right. Well, I've got to rib my glasses over here, so I'm a little behind you.
Okay.
All right, I'm getting ready to grate the frozen apple. I'll let you know how that turns out in a second.
I forgot I was muted. I was like, yeah, okay.
All right, it works pretty well, but really only for the part where you're getting peel, which is like 1 to 2 strokes maybe on the grater before the peel is gone. But it does work. It adds a cute little bit of green. I'm going to get ready and go ahead and, or well, I guess I'm going to just taste mine, not get ready. I don't need to psych myself up to taste them. I'm going to start with the apple mint margarita.
I was grating mine. Excuse me. I was grating mine and it kind of disappeared a little. I didn't get any green peel and mine just kind of shredded up a little.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
What kind of grater were you using? Were you using a microplane?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's pretty. I left a little chive strand in the one and I left a big cilantro sprig in the other so I could distinguish. And they do look pretty green. They're like kind of lime.
Yeah, you got a
But
lot more green out of yours than I got, but
okay, how was the mint?
it's good. It's
Yeah.
subtle. I need to punch up the like if I'm gonna leave it, I'm gonna need to punch up the mint a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
flavor wise, it's really good.
So next is
Cilantro. Just cilantro.
cilantro. Okay. And I'm doing my chive first. Oh, it's really good. The chive is very subtle. I do taste some green apple. The salt is really nice. I'm glad I have that salty rim, but I really like it. I really like it. I'm surprised.
Well, just means you didn't add that much like you didn't add too
Yeah.
much chive, I guess. But good. I might like my cilantro one just a smidge more than the mint, but I'm gonna have to kind of go back and forth in a second to
Mhm.
determine flavor wise. Because I feel like the one with the cilantro in it, and I don't know if this is just part of the cilantro of it all, but it's definitely got like a much more intense apple punch to it than the first one.
Hmm. Interesting.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'm intrigued, but
So on to the spice.
onto the spice.
Very nice. I think in the same case, I probably should have put a little more syrup in there. It's hard to get that heat that I wanted for the cilantro. So I think I need a little more there. But I like it also. I like the freshness of the cilantro. I do like the jalapeno too. I wish I'd done a little more jalapeno, but yeah, but it's still fun. Now I can keep playing around with it. I have a lot of syrups left,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you
not
can always
lacking.
add, it's like it's the only thing that's hard is subtracting. You can't subtract usually. But yeah, we could you could always like, strain out this round of herbs, bring it back to a boil, throw in throw in more herbs, maybe even blend it a little bit, cool it down, see where
Hmm.
that's at. That way you could also get more of that green out of it as well.
Yeah. Oh, our timer.
Wow, how
We
perfect.
set a 30-minute timer for ourselves and look at that. That was impressive.
We made it.
We made it.
Yeah, I think I need to put just a smidge more of the chili I used in mine, just a little bit
Uh-huh.
more because I can definitely taste it. And yeah, I want more cilantro. So I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
I want more. I don't want the flavors to be so timid, I guess, where I'm at. So it just needs more flavor
Yeah. But it is fun and it's not something I would have made on
normally.
my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like the frozen apple, even just eating it once I had shredded it. It had a really fun sweetness to it that I was surprised by.
Yeah.
And just that little snowflake consistency.
I like that part of it too, that it does have like a snowflakey kind of consistency on the top. It's really tasty.
Be fun to do it with other fruits that have a more vibrant color sort of
Hmm.
thing. But yeah, world level one, two,
Yeah, two.
one.
If you're lazy and don't like even pulverizing ice, sure, level
Yeah.
two.
Dishes. I mean, not a lot of dishes, but blender and shaker and measuring cups and
Well, I mean,
saucepans.
you're probably only going to pick one syrup. You're not going to make
That's
two to
true.
three syrups.
That's a good point. Yep, good point.
Okay, I just one last follow up. I can really taste the difference between the mint and the cilantro. And there, yeah, definitely more of an appley flavor to the one with the cilantro versus the one with the mint gives that like very nice, like it lightens it a little bit almost. So yeah, so it's
Yeah,
exciting.
it's exciting. Not flavor profiles we probably would have sought out, but just kind of wanting to use green apple and then what's available and what you can find and what you want in that moment just means you get two to three different options.
And leave the peel on because then you'll bump up your green and it'll definitely look
Hmm.
more fall Halloweeny kind of color.
Yeah. And the peel has a lot of nutrients, right? So
Yeah.
it's a healthy margarita now.
Yeah, we've made it healthy.
We
There you
made it.
go.
Skinny margarita. This is the healthy is the new skinny.
Healthy is the new skinny.
All right. Well,
Off we
happy.
go.
Yeah, off
Ooh,
we go. Let's do it. Oh, join our Patreon and
ah,
like and subscribe. Comment. Just like everywhere you can. Just
just like it all over the
like it
place.
all. Like it
Like,
all.
and yeah, please come join our Patreon. You can also
Hmm.
support us by using our code HGBIZZY at busy.com for those tasty CBD things, or as my personal favorite thing is, the big stick energy, because that shit works on my joints, on my feet. Like, it's really been helping calm down my nerve pain. I use it in combo with BioFreeze because my feet have been doing the I feel like a fire thing lately. So BioFreeze and a little bit of big dick energy, oh, big stick energy goes a
Uh-huh.
long way. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's time to go because obviously the alcohol is already getting to me. Off we
Yes.
go.
Off we go.